Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the final day of the conference and this session on engaging well with children and young people. As most people will already know, that Contact Kids, CDC and the PCF are part of a strategic participation consortium. Contact support parent carer forums and the strategic engagement of parent carers, and CDC support FLARE, which is the equivalent of the NMPCF, engaging strategically in a national sense, and kids support local participation of young people. So what we'd like to do is just to welcome Paul, Aisha, Heather, Tabby and Darren from Kids today, and they're going to be talking through how children, young people and parent carer forums can work together better locally to strengthen the voice of both groups. So I'd just like to hand you over. Thanks, everyone.
We are just going to give people a few minutes. We've still got people dropping in. So you can see, hopefully, Tab is sharing her screen. So whilst we wait, let's fill the chat with your name and which local authority area you are from, please. And there is also a poll just for our interest and to see if the tech works. Are you working with a young people's participation group in your area? Boom, people are starting to put answers in already. This is great. Thanks, guys. So whilst we've still got people coming in, we've got about 1 more minute before we kick off the show. Please, please share your name and local authority that you come from in the chat. And then there is also, hopefully on your screens, a poll. Are you working with a young people's participation group? Ah, the song finished and that's meant to be my cue. I always want to play it again. Guys, thank you so much for those that have voted. Attendees are viewing the questions. So we've still got a few people we're waiting for. If you can vote, please, please do. We'll just give that 3 more seconds. 2, 1, end poll. Fantastic. So can people see the results? I can't I can't see because I've closed them. Does someone want to share where we're at with our poll, please?
Yes, so we've got 18% saying there isn't one. Another 18% say no, we do not. 55% say sometimes we work with our young people's participation groups, and 9% say regularly.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that information.
I'm here now. Are we going to proceed with the slides? Oh, no, you have already. There we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to, I'm Paul Craw. I'm Head of Young People's Strategy within Kids. I'm very fortunate to be part of the team that delivers this part of the Making Participation Work contract. I'm a white male with short hair and a rather splendid beard, for those of you who benefit from those audio descriptors. Our aims for a session today are, as you can see on the board. We want to provide some insights into young people's understandings of parent carer forums and how young people engaged in participation, and how those groups have told us they would like to work with parent carer forums. We'd like to talk a little bit about consider the opportunities for collaboration between parent carer forums and young people's participation groups, and look at those opportunities. And we would really like to hear about where it's happening and where it's happening well around and about. Use chat, use the opportunities in the breakout rooms to share that. Those stories will be really powerful for us.
My back. Oh, double muting. I need to remember that. Okay, so my name is Aisha. I also work with the Kids team, supporting young people's voice to be heard across all the work we're doing and that the consortium are doing. I am a white female. I have my hair scraped back. I am wearing a super duper wireless headset, so can move around all I need to without getting tangled up. And because it's the 1st of December, I'm wearing a Christmas jumper. We've got a whole month of Christmas jumper days. So I was asked just to do a real tiny brief update, just in case people forget about muting mics, just so that we can really focus on the person that's talking at any given time, using the hand up functions and the reaction functions, because they are so much fun and they really let us see what you're thinking throughout the session. We've already started using the chat, so we can see that that is working. We really want everybody to share experiences today, but we do need to keep on track. So if you've got concerns or you feel like you need to talk about something in a bit more detail, we have got people that you can reach out to and message from Contact, who are in with us today. Hopefully you know some of those, they'll be familiar faces to you. If you want to send a private chat message, please do, and we will try and pick that back up with you. We will be having a 5-minute comfort break during the session. If we can be really prompt with that. Hopefully you know where your nearest toilet is. Mine is just down the corridor to my right. I don't know that that's where yours is, but hopefully you know. Fire exits, again, you'll know where your nearest fire exit is. Please do get out if your alarms go off. We want everyone to have a great session today and really be part of this exciting participation movement involving everybody.
Thank you, Aisha. Hi, everyone. My name is Heather Harper, and I also work for Kids under the Making Participation Work contract. I'm a Young People's Participation Coordinator. For my visual description, I am white female. I have long brown hair. I'm also wearing a headset, but it is not wireless, not as fancy as Aisha's. And I am wearing a kids hoodie today. And I just wanted to kick things off as doing a little bit of an icebreaker as well. So would you rather? So I think we got one as a poll, haven't we? So would you rather a sun holiday or a snow holiday? Let's kick this off. What would you rather? Love it. We're all going for a sun holiday at the moment. That's great. I would really like a sun holiday right now. It's been a little bit chilly. Fabulous. Sun holiday is up there. Thank you. Over to Darren.
Fantastic, and I think we could all use a bit of a sun holiday. So my name is Darren Clarkson. I work as part of Kids for the Make a Participation Work programme. I'm also running a participation group in Bridlington, right up in the very cold north of England. Visual descriptor for me, I'm a white male, I'm wearing a nice blue shirt, and I've had a new haircut. But I am feeling that I needed a Christmas jumper too, Aisha. I'm getting a bit jealous. I might have to take mine out of the cupboard. So my question to you guys for the second poll is, do you prefer sweet or savoury? So hopefully another poll will come up. So sweet or savoury? Let's have a look. We've got some results coming in already. Oh, we've got 63% going for savoury and 37% going for sweet. So definitely a lot of sweet food coming up at Christmas. Fantastic. Over to Tabs.
Hi, I'm Tabs. I also work for the participation team at Kids. For my visual description, I'm a white female. I have brown hair, which I've got back in a plait. I have headphones on and I'm in my lounge because I don't have a fancy office. And my question to you is, do you prefer books or films? Which would you rather? Now, I know they all came up at once. I can see Aisha saying films there. I kind of knew that one. I'm pleased that there are some people going for books. I think books are underrated.
I'll be honest, I can't believe how close some of them are, but I guess that's because I have quite strong preferences.
Great, and that's great to see. And it's, you know, we wanted to do that exercise to say, you know, it's okay to have different views, as these are often based on your experiences and preferences. Even within parents and carers, you have some that like different things. Some will like snow, some will like sun, and this is the same with our children and young people. And it's okay to think and want different things, and it's about finding ways to work together that do not devalue anyone's input. Thank you.
So a bit of an update on or overview of what making participation work is. We're going to be using this phrase a lot, I imagine. And some of you may be a bit new to this. So Making Participation Work is a contract that we're part of commissioned by the Department for Education. We're part of a brilliant consortium, which is headed up by our colleagues in Contact, along with the NNPCF. And in terms of the young people's work, we work alongside our colleagues at the Council for Disabled Children, CDC, who many of you may be aware of. Our part of the contract is really around enabling the participation of young disabled people in operational and strategic decision making. One of our delivery streams, however, is to explore the synergies between parent carer forum work and young people's participation work. So we've been working on this in various ways over the last couple of years. And I guess what we're interested in is what works for parent carer forum that young people's groups can learn from, and vice versa. And how can we work in concert together across the two participation streams in a way that improves the outcomes for young disabled people and their families?
So the collective. So where do we start? So kids have the collective, which is assembly of forums and participation groups supporting children and young people with SEND to have a voice. The collective has evolved from the last year or two, and actually you know, COVID has had a positive impact on that, because we've been able to meet online and bring the young people from across England together, and we've been able to reach out to more young people. So we meet regularly with them and do a lot of work, and it's been exciting to see the collective grow. And we've been able to also meet face to face, which we did in October. So we spoke with the young people around the collective to develop and identify the top 6 aims of what they want, the aims of the collective. So the 6 aims were to hear the voices of young disabled people, more participation groups so young people can use their voice, a platform where individuals can speak out and share experiences, representative voice of young people with SEND, and opportunities to be involved and make a difference and a change. And it's great that there's real aspirations for the collective. So this map shows where some of our members are from in England. Not all of them have a participation group. Some young people have joined us individually, as there's not a young people's group in every area, unfortunately. But it has given the young people that opportunity to join our participation group, and they've been able to attend virtually, and which has been amazing. And we, you know, as well as the nitty-gritty stuff, we do lots of fun stuff with our young people. So it's been great to bring them together. The word cloud shows what the collective means to young people and why it is important to them, which is great and really exciting. So yeah, that's the collective.
Thanks, Heather. And we were so lucky, as Heather mentioned earlier, to recently host a hybrid collective session with a number of young people from across the country coming to our top secret London venue, which was the Kurt Geiger New Season showroom. So exciting, in person, as well as those attending the online session. And on your screen, you can see the outline plan for that day. Session number 3 was looking at working with parent carer forums. It was such a positive session, and we are really excited to be sharing the content of some of that with you today. It was really good. We had DFE officers there, as well as wonderful Contact representatives. Carolyn, did you want to comment briefly on the experience or how you found it?
Yeah, thanks, Aisha. I think, yeah, Sarah, Kate and I all attended the collective event, and I think it was a few weeks ago now, wasn't it? And I think what really struck us was just the energy, how refreshing it was to hear from young people directly, and how confident, knowledgeable and articulate that they all were. And I think what struck me particularly was that actually not that many children and young people were aware of the Parent Carer Forum in their area, you know, or perhaps what their priorities were and whether they aligned with theirs. But I think what I took away was that the young people there really wanted regular communication with the Parent Carer Forums. They wanted to meet with some of the people from the forums regularly, and the same people if possible, so that they can talk about what their priorities are. That they really wanted to know what forums are working on, whether they share the same priorities, and so that there's a different perspective on those priorities. And I think they wanted feedback as well from Parent Carer Forums, you know, on the impact of their work, but most importantly, how the impact of their work affects them. So I think they sort of, I think the most powerful thing was around the sort of the assumption, really. They were sort of saying that they want Parent Carer Forums to listen to their opinions and not to speak for them, because they're perfectly capable of doing it themselves. And even if they're on the same wavelength, they might have a slightly different take on something. But most importantly, they want to collaborate, and they want to know how Parent Carer Forums can help them. So we were really privileged, felt really privileged to be there to hear directly, and can't wait for the next one. So I don't know if Sarah or Kate have anything else to throw in there.
Yeah, feel free if anyone does want to chip in.
Oh, I just put in the chat that we loved it, but I just noticed there was a comment in there from Debbie. Oh, it's flicked away now because we've got more comments. Let me have a look. But I think she was saying that they work with a young people's group in Doncaster, and asking about how they might join the collective.
Yeah, I think Tabs has just popped a little bit of information in there saying, email us.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, they are all over it. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. And I know we've got Darren in there monitoring the chat, responding to things in there. We will come to some of the things that people have popped in the chat, but thank you so much, Carolyn. Yeah, the things you highlighted there were some of the big takeaways that we had as well. The fact that there is a desire to work together, and hopefully we're going to be able to feed from you today, take that back to young people to find the most effective ways for us to move forwards.
It's really exciting stuff, and the fact we've been able to, you know, meet with the young people and now meet with you guys, and, you know, get that joint working happening is really exciting. So we are going to introduce jam boards. We want to know from you, what do Parent Carer Forums want to achieve? And, you know, we also asked the young people forums this question: what Parent Carer Forums want to achieve, and also what they wanted to achieve as a young people's forum. So it'd be really great to get this information collected. So Tabs is going to put the link in the chat, and if you click on the link, it should open up a new window with a Jamboard on. We use this within our young people's participation groups, and they love them. They really should be quite easy to use. So down the left hand side there are some icons, and on the fourth one down is a sticky note. So if you click on this and let us know what your forum wants to achieve. If you can use one sticky note for each idea, and also don't worry if someone else puts down your idea, it just shows that this is higher on the Parent Carer Forum's agenda. So do not worry if you're writing the same things. If you can't access the Jamboard, then please write your answers in the chat, and we'll get Darren putting those sticky notes on the Jamboard for you. So great, we've got some people on the Jamboard. Tabby, are you able to share the Jamboard in case some people are unable to see what's happening? So we've got better outcomes for our children and young people. Better outcomes for our children and young people, brilliant. Young people lived experience to be central to policy. To help families navigate through the SEND system more easily, brilliant. Fab, that's great. They're all coming along. Thank you. And if people wanted to write in the chat, if you can't access them, please
Can I just say, great work, whoever put one in pink. It's my favourite colour, and very few people put pink post-it, so thank you for that.
Colour. Prep for adulthood. definitely. Believe me, believe in me. Brilliant. Have their views. Signposting for parents and young people. Send being everyone's business. Partnership working. Equal access to what all other families can access. Definitely. Collaboration. This is great. Lots of post-its going on. Grab a post-it and then pop you. That's it. Great. More therapists. Support and challenge. It's given input so services are better for our children and families. Get help quicker.
Wowza, you guys want to achieve a lot.
It's brilliant.
This
I'm
is
loving
like when
this
we spoke to the
Jamboard.
young people.
Yeah,
they just kept going, fill in. We want to achieve this. We want to do this. This is what, and this is great to see that you have aspiration for your own group and for what you want to achieve. I love it.
Great.
We have approximately 30 more seconds on this Jamboard.
Well done. Keep us to time. Equal access to support, no postcode lottery. So true. Good transitions, every stage across all services. Avoid crisis. Brilliant. Lots and lots are there. And is everyone able to access? Do you have a copy of the Jamboard sent to us? Yes, we will be sending this out to everybody.
What I'll do is I will try and arrange it so that we can kind of see them all. And then, yeah, we will be sending this out after the session.
Great. And that's really good. Thank you. It's co-produced with health services. Lost it then. Moved. Great. Thank you. That's brilliant. And we will come back to that shortly. So, moving, that's it, well done. So we used this slide at the recent collective get together with our collective young people, and we went through the questions and the young people fed in. So you can see that, you know, we really wanted them to, you know, make sure that they knew about their parent carer forums and find out some information. So we would like to focus on the final one, which was, do the parent carer forums know about your group? And actually 95% of the young people that were in attendance said they do know about our group, which was brilliant to hear. But only a few young people's participation groups that attended had worked with them. And they'd done some collaboration work with their parent carer forums, and it was great to hear those good news stories, and we'll share some with you later on with what they have been collaborating on. So that was good to hear, but it'd be great to see whether we can do a bit more of that. So I don't know if Tab's been able to create a poll really quickly. That was super quick. So we would like to know from what you have just put, so picking out your priority aims. Now, there was a lot on that list, and I don't know whether Tabs has been able to pull some of those.
No, there were way too many for me to try and pull.
There's way too many. We were hoping.
Got Tab, are you on the open a poll already? Because I'm on the Jamboard still, and I'm just, because I was having a look at what some of these things are, ready for when I talk to you about what young people thought you did. And there are some similar things. So the big things that kind of popped out were around better outcomes for children and young people. That's come out quite a few times in different ways. Partnership working has come up a few times. Transitions still need to be maybe mentioned in that, because transitions and preparing for adulthood, that sort of thing. Co-production, I don't know if that maybe falls into working with partnerships, but I think it's been mentioned separately a few times. Access to services.
So it appears that the way Zoom works, it won't let me edit the poll as we go, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. No worries. Well, what we'd like people to do then, I would recommend in the chat, thinking of the things we had on the Jamboard, and Tab could reshare that if you would find that easier. Pick 2, and you can use ones you've put on, or you can use ones other people have put on, and it will really help us to see what your top priorities are. What are the 2 main things that you think, if we could only achieve 2 things as a forum, these are them? I'm ready to see all these exciting names in the chat now.
Brilliant, well done.
So Tabs has got those, she's spreading them out a little bit. There's so many, so many.
Great job.
So once you've worked out your top 2, drop those in the chat, please. If anybody does struggle with using the chat and you want to use the, she says, hand up function. Have we got a hand up function? Is it in reactions? In the reactions button along the bottom. If people want to, you can use any reaction you want, and I'll keep my eyes peeled for it and then come to you to unmute. Watching for anybody that wants to unmute. Nobody ever wants to unmute. Go on, someone do it.
No.
I dare you. Do you know what? I'm going to be really awful and be that person. I'm looking at all these faces on my screen. Kate, what do you think? Do you want to share an opinion, maybe?
Me from Contact?
Yeah, go for
Different
it.
Kate.
What
I'm
do you
thinking
think?
with the forums I talk to, I'm betting that a lot of people are going to think about better outcomes for children and young people as one of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. And I think it's really valuable for somebody that speaks to a variety of forums, not just sitting in one, to say that it's a real shared outcome, you know, looking at better outcomes for their children and young people.
I think it's really hard to just choose 2 and there's so many. And there was another good one in there, and I can't even spot it now, about, you know, just listening to children and young people all the time, not just at inspection time. And obviously co-productions in there. There's a lot of these things that will already be written into forums aims, you know, and that is their priorities. So probably just a bit overwhelming thinking of your top 2. That's probably why it's taking a little bit of time, but people are putting it in now.
Yeah, we've got some good ones coming through. We've got some better outcomes for all children and young people through the life course, and SEND being everyone's business, which is really key, really important.
Darren, feel free to share bits from some more bits from the chat there.
Sure, we've got children and young people genuinely being at the heart of everything. Can quite easily get missed. Individual decisions about their lives and strategic decisions too. So I guess it's moving away from tokenistic participation and really making them at the center of things and decisions. We have to improve inclusion. Yeah, hugely important. And we have a couple more coming through. Another one with better outcomes for children and young people through honest co-production and hearing what children and young people really want and need. Another one, really good one here, to help families navigate through SEND system more easily. We've got a couple more here. Things happening for children and young people in a timely manner, absolutely. And for children and young people to be listened to and not just being a tick box exercise, absolutely crucial.
That's great.
Just having a read through some of those, I think it's so clear that people, the real focus is on better outcomes, isn't it? It's there. It's so clear that that's what you guys are hoping to achieve as well. Fab.
Great job. Thank you. Should we move back to the PowerPoint? Tabs on tech. Brilliant. So we asked the young people what they felt parent carers want to achieve, and I think they've pretty much, you know, summed it up in nailed it, yeah. To have their voices heard, to make things better, and to make sure their young people get the right support. So they've pretty much summed up, you know, all of those things that you've said come under those, what the young people have said. So we will make sure that, you know, this information is all there for you to see. Thank you.
Hi, back to me. Sorry, guys, my computer was was deciding to turn off. So we are going to pop out into breakout rooms. Now, your room has got a facilitator who will have the 2 questions that are on the slides now with them. But if you do want to make a note, it will really help keep us all on track whilst in the breakout rooms. We are going to ask afterwards the facilitator to feed back 1 example of some of the great stuff that is already happening. You're going to be in your breakout room for about 10 minutes. So there's plenty of time to chat. And then we're going to be coming back, as I say, to have a little bit of feedback. So I can't wait to hear what's happening.
Great.
That was so quick.
Yeah.
So I am going to ask the room facilitators, hopefully facilitators, you took a little check of your room number, because I am just going to ask whoever was room number 1 to kick us off with just 1 thing that you heard within that. And I know it's tough to pick just one thing that you heard within that is super exciting, that where a parent carer forum is already working with a young people's group.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure I was room number 1. So I will kick us off. I took lots of notes because there was lots of really exciting activity happening. I think the main one that I'm going to mention is Rotherham. So all of their consultations are branched to go to either young people or parent carer forums, and they have young ambassadors who help create them, make sure they're easy to fill out. They've had 2 events that have brought together young people, parent carers and practitioners, and the aims that have come out of that were, believe me, early help, and I believe to look at transitions into adulthood. So this has been put into some of their strategic aims. They've got a group of young people who've come out of that called Guiding Voices, but they're really keen to make sure they're not the voice of every young person. And they've got a really exciting project which is just starting up, that they've just got funding for, that will look at preparation for adulthood for 14 to 25-year-olds with autism. And this will come under, this will start at their Year 9 review, and it will look at what that diagnosis means to them, because a lot of them got a diagnosis when they were younger, and it was for their parents rather than for them. So it's what it means to them, what barriers they face, and what cliff edges there are. And from this, it'll impact access and design of a lot of services across all elements of the area. So that's something that's really exciting, that's just being started.
Perfect. Thanks,
yeah.
Tab, that's great. Okay, room number 2, a real brief overview of 1 thing in your group, please.
Okay, we had a couple of forums that are already supporting and working with their young people's forums, one that's been doing it for several years and one that's just begun to be doing that. We've got one parent care forum who's thinking of setting up a supported closed Facebook group as well. And I guess when we got to the question around any activity in the future, there was some discussion about the fact how difficult it was to get young people's participation involved in the health arena. So something
Lovely.
to work on.
Yeah, fantastic. Some aspiration there, things to move forward. Number 3, 1 thing that they're working on at the moment.
I think that was my group. I didn't really take notes. I think it was me. I think it was clear in our group that there was a young people's group in one area that had ceased several years ago. There was another that was in development, and there was another area that had several groups. And one of the things that they'd worked on together, but separately in a way, was the Director of Children's Services recruitment. So both the Parent Carer Forum and the Young People's Group were involved in the recruitment. So I guess a future opportunity would be, you know, whether that could be jointly.
Fantastic, thank you so much, lovely. Group 5, I've lost count. I can't even count up to 5, it would seem. Group 4, thanks, Colin. Group number 4, who is that?
Brilliant. That was my group, Aisha. So we had some great ideas coming through. We identified some barriers in terms of you know, funding, making it a bit more difficult now with less access to youth groups and participation groups for young people. But one great example that came through was hosting an annual sort of co-led conference that's usually face-to-face but been virtual over this last year. That's in collaboration with the Parent Carer Forum, a local Sendias team, and also young people's groups. So it's all co-produced, and it's been a really good feeder group to get parents and young people linked into ideas where they can explore different themes for each year. So having themes of well-being and mental health, and also around transitions as well. And it sounds like it's something that's been really developed over the past couple of years, and is now taking on that really good momentum. So a great focus for, you know, a collaborative event.
And who doesn't love an event? It's always a great opportunity to celebrate what people are working on in their groups, as well as what they're working on together. Great example. Guys, we are pushing time, so if we can keep to one thing from your group around what they've worked on already, that would be really good. So group number 5.
That's me. Okay, so the couple of parent care forums that were in my room hadn't actually worked with the young people's group in their area. They had done previously. One of the ladies hadn't been on that piece of work, so wasn't sure, but they're both interested in working with young people's care, forums in the future. It's just how they go about it. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much. Heather, number 6.
Room 6 was actually disbanded into 4 and 7. So you can skip that one.
That's me then. That's me. I'm number 7, lucky number 7. So the one thing that I will share from our group then, and I am just picking something out, is some work that's being done with colleges to build a communication network to understand who will engage in participation work, and especially strategic participation work across an area, and supporting some of those young people to become experts by experience who sit on a making it real board, and getting young people in that, because it's always been led by adult services, and actually including the voice of young people within that, because they are still experts by experience, and living this real life. So that was a really good example. I love that. And hopefully everyone in the rooms took lots of notes, and will be sharing those with us, because we do want to capture all of these things that are being said. That's a nice smiley face popping in there. I love that. But we are going to have the super fastest, I was going to say it, comfort break. I'm not allowed to call it a wee break. Comfort break. So for me, I am going to be zipping, putting the kettle on, straight to the toilet, back to the kettle, back to my chair. Hopefully we will see everybody back in 5 minutes. Timer starts now. So as every, go on. Sorry,
I was going to say, are we covering question 2, Aisha?
No, that was, so in the facilitator's notes, we only wanted one thing from question 1 fed back in that one, just because we want to share so much information and collect so much information. We are pushing time. So yeah, it's, if you can share them with us in the notes, it gives us some things that people are going to be considering moving forwards with, and we can then reach out to people to get involved and to support with engaging young people in some of those if needed. Fabulous. So hopefully everybody is back. We are going to crack back on. This next piece of work is going to use the Jamboard again. So Tab is expertly popping the link back in the chat now. There it is. If you want to click back on that, at the top of the Jamboard, you will see a little number with arrows. So we want to go to 2 of 3. And it will, there we go, expertly demonstrated by Tab. Click, and it will look like this. You have 2 questions at the top. The first question says, shall I actually open it? There we go. Says, how can we help each other with a particular piece of work? So this is looking at how we can help young people and parent care reforms work together. And then the other side is what support or resources might help us to do that. So if you can drop your stickers on and then move it to the right side, that would be great. And it should just be drag and drop.
Just again, for any technophobes in here, feel free to put things in the chat. And another reminder, it's the fourth icon down on the left-hand side that's the sticky note.
I'm going to start sharing some of these as they're coming in rather than wait until the end. So communication, absolutely, absolutely. Sharing good practice, collaboration. Again, we've got it again, share good practice and information. A quality assurance framework, lovely. We've got that twice, good. Another one for communication. I can see this is going to be a popular word because it is so, so important. Talking about common themes, shared strategic priorities, lovely. Sharing what works well and what do we need to rethink or tweak. It's okay if it doesn't go right first time, as long as you don't just leave it like that. Talk about it, look at what can make it better, how we can improve, and doing that together. What works for you? What works for your young people? Fantastic. Joint funding. Lovely. I'm trying not to miss any. Another one for funding. Yeah, absolutely. So some of these might, and you know, the fact that joint funding is so close to that middle and it's on the other side, yeah, I think they kind of belong in the middle, don't they? They are both things that can help us work on a particular thing, and they are a resource that we probably both would appreciate. Share resources, information, contacts. Yeah, absolutely. And from the example I gave, you know, creating this network and having shared people and practices. And
you know what, I am so excited to see feedback on there, because we are constantly preaching about feedback.
Young people want to hear what difference they've made. I bet you guys are the same. Being told, we've heard you, we've taken it on board, and this is what we're doing about it. And then seeing actually things are changing or staying the same where that's needed, because sometimes they propose changes and they're not going to work for us, or they're not right. So absolutely, being each other's champions, I love that. Supporting, asking, where are they? Where are they? Young people said that as one of their things as well. And I know I am going to share some of what young people said in just a moment. But while we're capturing what you've said, impact evaluation from collaborative work, strengthening the case for change, absolutely. You know, the parent carer voice has absolutely grown over the last 10 to 12, 15 even years, massively grown, and young people are earlier on in that journey of their voice being heard. But, you know, and we say it all the time, one voice is better than none. However, 2 voices is twice as loud. And if we champion each other's voice and question where are they as part of the work we're doing with different people. No nonsense, yes. Plain speaking, communication, again, plain English, feedback, feedback, feedback. More sharing good practice, sharing those examples, events, activities, opportunities to come together to build those relationships. Absolutely. And a once a year massive celebration is great, but it's difficult because in a year people change, and you don't get the opportunity to build on that network and that resource of each other. Guys, there are some brilliant things in here. I am going to move us back in about 20 seconds back onto the PowerPoint. People and training, absolutely. And shared training. Why do we have training for them over here and training for them over here? Especially if we want shared understanding. I think it's so important for us to be in things together. And yes, sometimes we might need to adapt things, but why don't we? Why don't we? Let's make it all accessible and inclusive.
I think, as you say, making it all accessible. If we make it accessible at a more basic level, actually it's accessible for everyone then, not just the young people.
Absolutely. So guys, I am going to just to let you know, we have got a couple of things in the chat which have been popped across onto, I see your thumbs up there, Darren, thank you so much, which have been popped across onto the Jamboard for you. So thank you for using that, that facility as well. So I am going to share with you now some of the things that young people said. And I'm sure you will see some similarities. So that first point around how, they've given you some there. We also had them say things around ask young people with SEND if they want to meet with your parent carer forum. And I know we had that comment earlier, we will wait until we're invited. And they're asking, why don't you ask if you can come along? So actually that this needs to be something that we talk about more openly, that invite across the two groups. They want details. They want to know not just meeting times and venues, but what are we going to be talking about? Why? They like videos explaining things, so that can really help young people with SEND understand better. And writing a letter or an email to share some information. They gave a few examples of different forms of communication and ways to communicate that would really help to understand it. And then that resources and helping to achieve this. They did talk a little bit about technology and how that would support. Because it's not always easy to sit in a room, and meeting times are not always going to be convenient for both, and that's okay as long as that communication is there. And the final thing, what support and resources do we need to help achieve this, that people want to make it happen too, which really hit home. This has got to be supported by everyone. We've got to want to make it work. So really good comments from you guys, and some great insight and shared points from young people there. Thank you so much.
Got a great question here in the chat as well, Aisha. How do we get the young people who are not as vocal to participate? Great question.
Shall I answer that one? Sorry. So those that are not as vocal. Now, this could be a variety of things, I guess. You've got the choice to participate. Participation is all about choice. If young people don't want to be involved in a group, for example, they can choose not to be. And it's about offering a range of opportunities to young people across a spectrum of activity types, I guess, and the level at which you're trying to pitch that opportunity. We do some work around young people who use augmentative technology. There's a bit of jargon for you. We've got a young person in the group that's local to me who uses his eye gazer. And actually that can take quite a bit of time for him to feed into group discussions, making sure your young people know what you're going to be talking about, giving them opportunity to think about. We use workbooks that get sent out at least a week, if not 2 weeks before a session that we're going to run. And if people want to see some examples of those, please feel free to email us. We'll have our email on the last slide. But feel free to ask us to have a look at some of those, because they really help to simplify, to work things out, to slow down. So for example, what's on the slide at the moment is a snippet from the workbook, giving young people some ideas, some insight, using those symbols. Although some of these things are quite complex topics, sometimes it's about giving yes or no, making single choices to simplify what we are asking. because some young people, their skills, their knowledge, their understanding hasn't been developed yet. And I'll tell you, it takes time. It can take quite a bit of time. And that's why it's important to have young people coming together regularly, to be involved regularly, to develop those, to take opportunities to develop those skills. And we do some training. I think the next thematic update from the MPW project, we're talking about skills development from young people and how important that is for them to have a meaningful input into your work, our work, and everybody else's. I don't know if that answers your question. If you've got more questions, feel free to either bounce them in the chat and we'll come back to them, or if you, as I said earlier, if you want to email us and have some of those discussions, we'd be more than happy to have a chat to you.
Thanks, Aisha. That's great. Okay, so yes, this is a slide, a bit from the workbook that we gave out to the young people when we met in October. So we asked the young people what the top things that would be good to know about their local parent carer forum. So the top 3 being, they want to know what you want to achieve, which is great, we've got that now. Involvement with us, so involvement with their participation group, and the impact that you have. So they were the top 3 that the young people had voted for. Some of the comments from the young people from the day, so they wanted to know what are their actual plans, what are they currently doing and why, how what they do impact us. A young person said that I voted for all of them as they are all important to me, so they wanted to know about all of those points. One asked, have they got any news from parent carer forums? So have a think about whether you do have a newsletter and whether that could be shared with your young people's forums or local young people, so they're aware of what you are doing. Finding out what changes they've made and how they impact us and how they can help us. So, you know, helping each other. And I would like to ask, with having you guys here, if anyone does have a young people friendly guide or information about their forum, can you please let us know in the chat, so that you know, we can kind of use that as a starting point if anybody does have a friendly guide around their forum. And if anybody is interested, so if this isn't a thing, and parent carer forums don't have an easy read guide or you know, information for young people about parent carer forums, if you'd be interested in doing some collaborative work with young people to develop one, please let us know, and we can make this happen. So that's what the young people said. And now we want to know from you what information you think your forum might find useful about your local young people's group. So, because we want to make sure this is right for everybody. So there's a poll there. So please vote on what you would like to find out about your young parent groups, young people's forums. Sorry. If you select other, please let us know in the chat if you would like to, what that is that you would like to know. Great, so we've already got here. Let's wait till we're voting, it's all moving around. So yeah, what they want to achieve, brilliant. Yeah, we're still all moving around. What they want to achieve is 80% at the moment. Ways of working, brilliant, definitely. Funding, membership impact, they're all quite similar. And other, have we got anything in the chat for other?
Darren, do you want to share a couple of items? Yeah, thank you.
So we've got, what is their approach as a group? How are they strategically engaged, and is this important to them?
Great.
Great questions. And duration as well. So I guess I'm assuming that means how long do they meet? How long was maybe a good length of time to meet with participation groups?
Fantastic. 30 more seconds in this one. I think people are pretty much there with their voting. So
yeah,
we'll get I should have had the countdown music. I keep forgetting.
And another big one is actually having information for young people's groups in the area. And how many children and young people have additional needs, what their age is, maybe what the best approach is for them. So lots of different questions regarding young people's participation groups across the regions.
Right.
And key one, are they on the local offer?
Fab. Hopefully they
Massive
are.
one.
Hopefully, yeah.
We do a lot of work on the local offer with our young people.
Amazing. Right, we are going to close that poll and share with you our runaway winner is about what young people's groups want to achieve. Close in behind is this idea about ways of working, funding membership, all having votes in there as well. And then a few other really important key things that you've mentioned in the chat that you would be interested in finding out about. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Over to Paul.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, so we're going to be playing with Breakout Rooms again. Hurrah! We'd really like to know from you if, when you consider working alongside and with young people's groups, whether it would be used to have a working agreement of some sort in place, and if so, what kind of things would you want to be included in that to make sure that you're working together in a way that works for everyone involved? We'd also like you to think about the barriers to collaboration with young people's groups. So not so much in terms of can we get together, what's the access for all the rest of it, but some of the stuff that you worry about, the things that might go wrong. I won't suggest anything in case it brings the focus in. But what are your concerns about what might go wrong or what the impacts might be, negative impacts might be about working together? So think about the working agreement, think about barriers, and some of those will be quite straightforward, but also any of these kind of underlying concerns that you have.
Perfect, thank you. Can we go into our breakout rooms again then? Am I unmuted now?
There you
go. Because I've got the two.
That's so nice.
Fancy headphones, that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, you get muted when you come into the room, don't we? Guys, so thank you so much for that. We are not actually going to do feedback. The room facilitators are going to bounce us some of that information so that we can work on that with young people on if we need an agreement, how we can create that, what that might include, using your comments as well as their comments, which you can see on your screen hopefully now, and looking at those barriers and concerns and what can we do? How can we support as separate organisations, as individuals, as people wanting to work together to really move that on? And it was clear in the groups when we spoke with young people, as well as in, I definitely know in my breakout room, that we need to create this creative, supportive resource or something to help us work together. But it seems like it's got to be valued that we've got our own really strong voices still. We don't want to lose those individual group identities. So that was fantastic. Thank you so, so much. Now, we worked with young people at our event to find some really good working examples of what's happening. Now, you gave us some of those earlier, but we have got a final Jamboard. So if you want to click on that Jamboard link, hopefully Tab is just popping it back into the chat. All I would like is on your sticky note for you to put which local authority you're from, the topic only, the topic that you worked on, and if there was some sort of outcome or impact in a one sentence. So it's a really short, cram it onto that one sticker, drop it on, because we are going to use these to follow up. So again, one example on one post-it note. I think there's a post-it on there already that says what local authority, the topic that you worked on, the impact or outcome from it. whilst you are popping your comments on there, I'd really love to share with you just one example from a group in attendance at our collective event the other month. So it's actually from Lincolnshire. Lincolnshire Young Voices have a long-standing relationship with the Lincolnshire Parent Carer Forum. They've attended each other's events over the years, and they share a real similar network of practitioners, volunteers, parents, carers, children, young people, which is allowing them to build up those relationships. And recently they collaborated on a project to get the views of children, young people, and parents and carers to feed into the area's autism strategy. They broke down the strategy so that it was a bit easier to understand, held these interactive, facilitated conversations and events with participants. All this information was pulled together, put into a report and shared with Lincolnshire's Autism Partnership Board. And they've then put out to relevant parties and ensuring that there are better outcomes for those with ASD locally as well as nationally. So it's fed up even further into the national all-age autism strategy. So that's fantastic local work that's having an even wider impact. So thank you to those young people who shared that work with us. I know that some people did have things, and we've got notes on those. I know we're at the end of the time already. If people want to carry on popping into these, that is...
Yeah, the Jamboard will still be open, so please feel free to add those in. So we have come to the end, and we are a few minutes over, so do apologise we're eating into your lunch break. But I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today. It's been great to meet with the young people and then with you guys to bring this work together. So it's really exciting, and we can't wait to pull what you've said, what they've said, and share that with you guys. Please let us know about any work that you've got coming up with young people's groups. Take part at kids.org.uk. That is our email address. We've got an Instagram there and a Twitter. If you ever want to tag us in things that are happening with regards to participation. But if you can reach out to your local group and start collaborating on future things that are coming up, that would just be amazing. If you would also like a copy of our recent collective get-together write-up, please email Take Part and we will get that copy sent over to you. And if you've got any young people, I know that I've seen in the chat that people have got some young people that would like to join our Kids Collective, then please tell them about the collective and this exciting opportunity to work with other young people's groups from across the country. And they don't just have to be, from a participation group. We know that, there aren't young people participation groups everywhere, unfortunately. But if young people want to share their voice and they want to be part of our collective, then please let us know, because they are more than welcome. Exciting. And let us know if you've got any easy read guides for your parent care forums, because that's also really important moving this piece of work forward. But thank you and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you all so much. Have a great day.